Welcome to the Women Who Code Tech Summit. It's the BlockDataPy Summit, and I have here with me Runjhun, who is going to be speaking about self-learning projects, what, why, and how. So, just to give you a brief introduction on her background, she is a final year master student majoring in computer science, and she is a lead here at Women Who Code Data Science track. So when she's not working on deploying her machine learning models, you will find her stargazing and taking pictures of the moon. So yeah, over to you, Runjun. The floor's all yours.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Um, Let us start with I welcome you all again to self-learning projects, what, why, and how. If you face any technical problem or you can't hear my audio or video, please let me know in the chat. So let's begin. Hi, everybody. I'm Runjhun Ratawal. Uh, Elaine has already introduced me, so I won't be introducing myself again. These are my profiles that I work with it as a lead at Women Code Data Science and as a master student at IGDTW India. All right. So before jumping deep into this session, there's a small disclaimer that the views and opinion expressed are those of the speaker, that's me, and do not necessarily apply in a specific condition. So all what you'll be hearing for the next 30 minutes is completely out of experience. So please don't mind that if I suggest something that's not relevant to you, or you might face some other problem that I haven't faced yet. So this is all experience in making. So please don't take it as the gospel truth and generalize it. So this is just a small disclaimer before we start. And with that said, let's start with our session. This is the session roadmap. Today I've divided this session into three parts: what, why, and how. So under what section, I'll be laying down the foundation as what are self-learning project, what is the hype all about, and then later on in the second segment, I'll be answering the why question, why you should do a project, why does a recruiter focuses on my project, and thirdly, the question of the hour, how to start a self-learning project, how to select the correct problem statement, how to document it, and there's a bonus question at the end, so we'll discuss it later on. All right, so moving on to our first segment, that's the what segment. So whenever we hear this word projects, the first question that arises is what are self-learning projects? We have all heard about things about, you have to do projects, you have to, take too many projects in your resume. So these kind of questions we have all heard, but nobody have answered that what comes, what qualifies as a project. So here I am helping you guys with, giving a definition that I think is more suitable for self-learning projects. So a project is nothing but presenting a solution of a problem statement in a mannerful way. So it's nothing but answering a question for you guys, because whenever you have a problem statement and you answer it well, that's a project. But there's something other than that. There are three features that I consider, I keep focusing on, that there has to be a documentation as well. So a self-learning project consists of three features, not just two: a problem statement, proposed solution, and a documentation. So whenever you answer a question, you obviously have a solution towards it. But whenever you are presenting yourself, you're presenting a project, you do not show your code basically. You show your documentation. You show that Word document, or the process of it. So this is why documentation is very important, and we'll be discussing a lot about it in the coming few minutes. So yeah, but there's one more question that arises: is why self-learning? So projects can be anything, but why self-learning? Because projects, I think self-learning projects are very important, because it's nothing to be associated with your company or a professor's homework. It's just for your self growth. It's just for self learning. So self learning project is a task on its own. So these kind of things are very important when you are going for a perfectionist view for a topic. Um, Second question is, what's the hype all about, really? Because whenever we hear this, projects are so important. You have to have projects in your resume. Uh, interviewers also ask you that, what's this hype all about? Whenever a new person enters a tech industry, they all have heard this word, and trust me, it drives everybody crazy that we have to have projects. But project is nothing but answering a solution, as you do when you are studying, when you are writing your exam. You just answer a solution, answer a question, answer a question, and that's it. That's a project for you. So this is nothing to be hyped about. So I hope I answered this question well, but feedbacks are always welcome. Moving on to our second segment, that's the why segment, because we always want to know why of everything. So here I am. All right. Um, so now we know what are projects, but let's discuss why should I do a project. So I will be giving you three answers for it. First, a project depicts that you have experience of a particular domain. So regardless of you're showing it to whom, it can be a reviewer or even your colleague, your classmate, that they want you to work on something bigger, and they want to recruit them for you. They want you to recruit you. So how they will know that you have experience of this. So a project depicts your experience in a particular domain. So for example, if you have done a project in classification, they know that okay, you can do it in their project as well. So that's how you depict yourself. It's like giving a business card of your experience. So projects are very important. Secondly, it helps you gain in confidence of a tech stack, and you're able to attempt similar questions in the future. Obviously, when you learn a tech stack and you're just reading about it, it doesn't come to you as something that you have learned. When you do something hands-on, you get into it. You make yourself you go into that trouble of learning things. Then only you gain confidence of what kind of problems you'll face, and that's how you gain confidence of a tech stack. And projects are very helpful in that, because a project is a bigger problem that you'll be answering for maybe 1 month, 2 months, and that time of span helps you a lot to learn every nitty gritty of that tech stack, not just writing that code. So uh, that was my second point for you. Third point, it is a great team building exercise. You learn how to work in a team. So, whenever we're learning something, we are on our own. We just learn something sitting alone in our room. But whenever we have to do a project, we go out, we meet people, and we work in a team. So there comes, self, like communicating yourself to other people. And these soft skills are very important, because when you work in a company, these soft skills might help you uh, communicate your project to your partner. You have to be responsible in your work. So these kind of soft skills are very helpful, and you develop it throughout your project. So I think that's why you should do a project. Um, yeah. So our next question is, why does the recruiter focuses on my project? So whenever we all have faced those horrible recruiters that just do these kind of they scare us the hell out of us, that you have to have projects. But it's nothing to be on, they are not at the fault, because they have just 40 minutes, 45 minutes to know you, and they have to hire you for a longer time. So if they know that okay, these kind of skills you're bringing to the table, they help they it helps them to know more about you. So that's why projects are important for recruiters as well, because they want to know if you face any problem in future regarding this. And if you have done a project, if you have done some classification problem back in your days when you're studying, they know you might be able to handle the pressure, the you might be able to answer that solution, the question. So that's how they know, and that's why they go crazy about your projects. All right, so I think I've answered the why section, and now let's jump on to how part, how questions, because it's very important to know how to do it. Now that we know, what are self-learning projects, why should you do them, let's jump on to how to start a self-learning project. I've divided it into 3 stages for you guys. First is pick a domain. So picking a domain means, preparing yourself for that war that you're gonna face in the upcoming months. So you have to learn about the topic. You have to read it. So something it's like, you're new person to the to data science per se, and you have to learn supervised learning. So just go to supervised learning, pick a classification problem, and then study about it. So this is what I mean by picking a domain. Second stage would be, now you're ready for the war, you know what you do, you have a knowledge base with you, get a partner. Getting a partner is very important. I will be discussing more about it, but I think having a partner makes you more responsible. So stage 2 is not compulsory, but highly recommended. Next up, we have stage 3. Set some ground rules. Set some ground rules for yourself, for your partner, and for that project, because you don't want to go crazy about the time of the duration of that project. Like you don't want to go for weeks and weeks for just for that project. So you want to have deadlines. You want to have some foundations for you as well, so that you are responsible. All right, let's deep dive into these stages. First one, pick a domain. So start with a basic topic that you find interesting. Like as I said, if you find supervised learning interesting and you want to go with a classification problem, so start with it. Read about logistic regression, read about naive Bayes, read a blog, watch a video to study in depth. Try out a small hands-on question for practice, like do EDAs on some example questions, or uh, fit a model according to that uh, the topic that you're studying. So these kind of small questions will help you for that bigger picture that you'll be drawing later on. And find previously done projects in that domain and try to find your interest area. So when you try some things and okay, this person have answered this question, I might be able to answer it well, or I might be able to modify it in a different way. That's when that's your project. Some useful resources I would recommend here is Coursera, edX for reading and watching videos. They're the best for free courses, as free courses are concerned. And then Kaggle, you all know Kaggle is best for looking out for previously done projects and data sets as well. So this is stage 1. Now you're prepared. You have a knowledge base. What comes next is stage 2, having a partner. So get a partner. Having a partner is highly recommended, but not necessary. Excuse me. All right, sorry. Having a partner is highly recommended, but not necessary, obviously. Some people might find it difficult to work with other person, so that's completely okay. Find a person with similar interests and knowledge base. So basically, you don't want to overshadow a person, or get overshadowed by a person. You don't want a person to in a group that does all the work and you're just sitting idle, that I don't know what to do. So that's not what you want. um, Third point is be open about your strengths and weaknesses, because you don't want to hide your weaknesses, and then later on that partner yells at you that you haven't told me earlier that you can't do it. So just be open about your strengths and weaknesses, that okay, I will be able to manage just 4 hours per day for this project, and that's all right. So just be open to your partner. Having a partner out of your friend circle is a very good option. I have been there, done that. So I am highly recommending that have a partner out of your friend circle, because in your friend circle you have people for the similar age group, you have similar mentality, you have similar way of approaching things, and you have similar excuses. So I think these kind of things help you to come out of your comfort zone and get into that zone of working and be responsible for your for your partner and for your project. Some useful resources to find partners is LinkedIn and tech communities like WWCode. I got my project partner from putting it on WWCode Slack channel. You can do that as well. After stage 3, assuming that you have a partner now, stage 3 is setting some ground rules. So now you have to have some basic rules. Set the problem statement, set the tech stack that you'll be using, and the duration of the project. As I said, you don't want to work on that project for months and months. So fix a duration like 2 months that we'll be doing it, and you have a, a deadline in your mind. So you will be working for it for sure. Then we have schedule a fixed time for team meetings to discuss the progress. This is highly recommended because when you have a fixed time, I would recommend weekly meetings are very important. So when you have a fixed time, you have your a clock ticking in your mind that okay, I have to do my work before I meet that person, and because they are expecting you to work. So these kind of things make you work and not procrastinate at all. Divide tasks among your team according to each individual's capability, because these tasks are when you divide these tasks according to your strengths, they help you grow as a team and not as an individual. So if a person is good at reading research papers, I would recommend that uh, that person just reads the research for the team and gets the background set, the similar project that you have set for the team. So these kind of tasks that are divided are very important for team building as well. Some useful resources here I would recommend are Google Docs, Google Meet, Zoom, Notion, Google Colab for coding, and Calendly for fixing these timely meetings. I hope these questions are relevant to you guys. All right. So now that you have, we have everything with you, but the most important question that arises still in our mind, that how to select that correct problem statement. When you don't have a correct problem statement, you just have so many projects. That's the reality. When you are just trying on every time new problem statements and nothing is working for you, that's when you know that this project is not working. Let's skip on to another one. So select a domain like healthcare, education, finance, etc. first. Like if you want to go with finance, you just search for available data sets in that domain. And because in finance you will be finding things like house prediction problems, these kind of things, and that data is also available. So choose the data that you find the most interesting, like some house prediction. Maybe it might be that you find your area's house prices, so you'll be more interested in that, and start asking questions that can be answered using that data. So if you have something from healthcare and you have a hospital's data, so you can ask like, how many people have diabetes, have reported diabetes in that hospital? What's the ratio of, having people getting positive for cancer? These kind of questions that you can answer from that data are, then just take down the list and go for any question that you find relevant for yourself. A word of advice here is don't go for big projects or something you don't know. You don't want to, nobody's asking you to make a Tesla car or send a rocket to the space, because that's not a project for you, right? So don't go for big projects. It's something very simple. It can be like something, as I said, healthcare prediction, like predicting that person has diabetes or not. So these kind of small things make a good project, and not like building rockets and sending it to space. All right. So with that said, we have our next question as how to document a project. So as I said, like now you have a good project in your hand, you have a correct problem statement with you, and now you have done that project, assumingly. So now you want to document it. So how would you do it? First, document a project is as important as the project code itself. As I said earlier, that it's a good way to document your code. Documenting can be in any format, a Word file, a spreadsheet, or even a video. You can make a video of yourself explaining that code, or the working of that code will also do. It provides a recruiter to understand the project in the least time possible, because the recruiter is there for just 45 minutes with you, and they want to understand everything of your project. So these kind of documentation help, and even if you're not there and just they're reviewing your resume, they will know, okay, you have those managerial skills and you know how to be organized. So these kind of small soft skill also help to get that perfect job for you. It also helps to keep a record of the resources that you might need in future, because I've done that, a lot of times, that I have gone back to my previous projects, taken resources from them, and used them in my future projects. So these are very important things to have a record of that resources, because you never know when you need them, right? So with that said, I would recommend a few documenting resources now. So for the first, excuse me, for the first resource, I would highly recommend Notion. It's hands down the best one to document it. Use a Notion board to keep a track of your resources. And it is helpful in planning the timeline of the project as well, because it provides a lot of predefined templates and you can modify it as per your usage. So you can use these kind of templates that we all see in Notion, that are very beautiful, and you just have to select what fits in your case and just edit them out. You don't have to create everything from scratch. And I think Notion is the best for organizing your thoughts as well. Next up, we have Google Docs. Google Docs is something very underrated. It's easier to maintain a progress report for each meeting. This is a screenshot from my own project that I'm doing currently, and this project is every time we meet with a professor, we have this progress report updated. So these kind of things help you, keep track of where you are in the project, and even if there's a supervisor having supervising you, they also know, okay, these guys are doing something good. So it is easily shared, and you can include its link in your resume, which will depict your managerial skills, right? So when you put your code in the resume, you can even put these small documents as well, so that they know, okay, you know how to organize your stuff. You're a good organized person, so they might hire you for that as well. Who knows, right? And lastly, GitHub. So GitHub might come to you as a surprise, but it's very interesting to document your project on GitHub. It provides many features like README section, you have wiki page for your project, and it's a great way to represent your work along with its code, because it's not possible for everybody when they're reviewing 200 or 300 resumes in a day to click on each link that you're providing. So when they go on your GitHub, I think they always do. So GitHub provides your code and your documentation simultaneously to them, and that makes their work easy. So I think GitHub is the most important if you are applying for companies that are big and use these kind of system, that they review many applications per day. So they know your code, they can see your code right there, and they can even see your documentation. So this is all about documenting your project. And lastly, please, how not to make it a big hype. Let's calm this all down, really. Because every time I hear somebody saying, oh my God, I have to do projects, I get very frustrated, because it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. Because you just have to answer that question like you're preparing for an exam. You just do with your pen and paper, you answer a solution, right? Answer a question, right? So that's all a project is. So let's not make this a big hype that, okay, I have to do projects, I have to have great projects in my resume. No, you just answer a simple question that you think is interesting, that you think you can explain it to a third person, be it a recruiter, be it a colleague of yours, you can explain it to him, you can explain it well, and you are interested, you're enjoying that journey, that's a project for you. So let's not make this a big hype. And with that said, we I would just wrap up this session with that thought. Thank you so much. I will open the floor for questions now. This is my LinkedIn and Twitter handle. I would highly encourage you to give me a feedback over LinkedIn. So thank you so much. Now I'm open to some questions.
Thank you for the amazing talk, Runjhun. So yes, now we'll open the floor for questions. So I think we have some questions in the chat already. So the first one is from Charlotte. So she's asking that with documentation, do you mean explaining within the code what you do or a good README file? What are your thoughts on
Um,
this?
can you repeat the last line? I think I didn't go to there. Um, okay, within the code, right? So it's great to have small lines of documentation in within the code, because that will help you as well as some person who's reading it somewhere else, because they know that okay, this person was thinking that whenever they were writing that code. It's a good thing to write it, and it's a good practice for you to showcase as well. It's important when you do it for a company, because they you will not be there for every time you'll be spilling your code, right? So they want you to document everything, and you should have a good README file, because as I said, documenting is as important as a code. So having a good README file, not a fancy one, I would say, but a good written, simply, explain everything. Just have that README file, and there you go. You have a good project.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, so now moving on to the next question. So we have one from senior. So I think it's more general question where she wants to know if a woman who could propose projects to join, and if they are they available to beginners or early intermediate level Python coders?
I think WWCode doesn't provide projects, but yeah, as I said, I have met my project partner through WWCode. I just put like a Google form with it, having my own details, like what kind of things I'm interested in and what kind of person I'm looking for. And a few people have filled that form, and I met them online. I answered their question, they answered mine, and that's how I met my a project partner. So you never know, when you find that person you are comfortable with. So just try, finding them on these tech communities. It's really helpful. And you might not find a good partner as well. I'm not sure, but you will find somebody for sure. You'll be getting some answers there.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good way to start out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just reach out in the Slack chat and then you can see who you can pair up with and like get into projects with.
Yeah, there's
That's
a help me
amazing.
channel. I just put it like, hi, I'm looking for a project partner. I'm a beginner. I've done these many
Yeah,
courses. So things like that. Just be open about yourself and know just tell them that what you find, what person you are looking for. So I think people do answer. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Okay, I think we have one question from Needy. She's asking if we have opportunities to find a partner via Women Who Code, but I believe you might have answered that
Yeah.
during your the previous question as well. So I'm just looking through to see if we have any other questions.
I see a lot of people relating to that memes I've got. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, it was amazing. I love absolutely the graphics. It's so amazing. Okay, I think that we don't have any more further questions, it seems.
Yeah.
So, do you have any conclusions you like to say, share with the audience, Runjhun?
Yeah, sure. So firstly, thank you so much for listening so patiently. And I am glad that you guys find it relevant, because I was nervous that it might not be relevant to you guys. So concluding it, as I said, don't make it a big hype. It's nothing but your practice. It's just for self-learning. Do a lot of projects, but not, at the cost of your mental health. It's like you're reading something, you're reading some unsupervised learning topic, and just go Google some data sets. Okay, now I can answer this question. Do a project. That's how you do a project, right? So these are something. These points are something that really helped me, and also have a good partner. Having a good partner is very important, but it's more important that you be good to that partner as well. You should also be responsible as well. Not expect everything that, okay, I want a good partner, but you have to prove yourself as well that you are also a good partner. So that's with that said, that's how I will just conclude this session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Runjhun. It's been awfully inspiring, and I'm thinking for our audience here as well, it's been incredibly enjoyable and also a fun speech by you. More of a talk. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much.
Runjhun. I will now conclude this session. Yeah, thank you to all participants for joining as well. Bye. Thank you.